Welcome to the GrayHawk DJC podcast. In today's podcast, we talk with Marco Pinto, owner of Wayy Fast Logistics. We hope you enjoy the podcast. Hey Marco, how you doing?
Doing fine, thank you. Thank you. How you doing, man? Doing
Pretty good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
I know you traveled a long way, but we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So you are the owner of Wayy Fast Logistics.
Correct, yes.
In Miami. And you guys are a freight brokerage company, is that correct? Okay. Tell us what freight brokerage is.
Freight brokerage is basically in an industry where you have we are the middleman between the shipper and the carrier. Carrier is like the trucking company, or the owner of the truck. So we're the middleman. It's like, put it this way, like when you go buy a house, you sell your house, you have a Remax agent, or the middle guy, and you have the person who wants to buy the house. We were basically like Remax of logistics.
So is that because companies who want their product shipped, they don't know who can ship it, so you guys help them find somebody that can?
Correct. And the thing is that there's so much freight and so much load that comes to the US and that goes out that there's no company that actually can take all the work by itself. So they need help. So and that's why they look freight brokers to do that.
Awesome. Well, let's go back and find out about who you are. Take us back to where you grew up, where you came from, and we'll start from there. So.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I grew up in Bolivia, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I've lived in Bolivia many years. Then I came to the States in 2019.
All right. How old were you?
When I came to the States? Well, it's recently. I'm 37 now.
Okay. So you came at 35, 32 or something like that? Okay.
34. No, 35, yeah. Okay. 35.
All right.
So I started in the freight business by accident. I'm not going to forget this. It was January 1st. And a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, what's up? How you doing, Marco?" And we were talking. He was a close friend of mine.
Were you in the States at this time?
I was in Bolivia.
Okay. All right.
And we were talking about normal stuff and how everything was going, January 1st, goals, whatever you have like that. Right. Yeah. And he said "So what are you up to? Are you working?" And at the time I was not working. I was looking for jobs, applying for jobs everywhere. And I was like, "No, you know what? I'm not working. I'm searching for stuff, but I'm chill by now."
Yep.
And he said, "Okay, you know what? I know that you speak very well English," and he didn't speak English well.
Okay.
So he needed a person that speak very well English and that actually was able to come to the US to help him with the business. And I'm yeah, of course. I have nothing else to do. At the time, I didn't have a kid. I was single. Let's do it.
No attachments, right?
Yep. No attachment. Yep. I could just grab my bag and just send me to whatever place you want, I'll go.
Sure.
So I came and they did this big training on me, months of training in Tampa.
Okay. So you just flew to America one day?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you have to go through any visa stuff? Or
I already had my American citizenship.
Oh, okay.
But I was living in Bolivia because I lived in Bolivia 20 years. So I have my friends, my family, basically everyone was over there. So
were you born in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Where were you born?
In Miami.
Oh, okay.
So I was born in Miami, but I left to Bolivia very early, when I was 10 years old.
Oh, I see. Okay, so all your schooling and stuff is Bolivian, and
correct.
Then you came back. Okay.
Yeah, right. Correct.
All right.
So I was in Tampa. They did all this training on me, and I was like, wow, this industry is... I have no idea because he used to own he does own a trucking company. And I was like, wow, this industry is very I've never heard of it before. And he needed a person that he was actually going to open a division for a freight brokerage.
Okay.
He had the trucks, but he wanted more like in the logistics part, wanted to transition to freight brokerage. I was like, wow, this is cool. So from 2017 to 2018, did the training. I was like working and not so much because they didn't have a lot of freight. But at the end, like COVID hit.
Okay, that's right.
You got COVID at 2019, and everyone is staying home, losing jobs and everything. So I stay quiet, like I don't have a job and anything. So I got so minded, like, what's the deal with industry? Because I wanted to learn, like, if you have courses or whatever. And there's nothing there's like if you go to university, there's no classes or anything that teaches about freight brokerage.
Okay.
They only have like these courses where they teach you about like shipping and warehouse management and stuff like that, but they never talk about freight brokerage. So I got into it, and by 2019, I was without a job. I was looking what to do, and then
So when COVID hit, their business kind of went down.
correct.
Okay. All right.
Correct. Then on that stage of 2019, my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, this could not happen in the worst time.
Right.
Like, no job yet. Like, why is this happening? So then I was like scrolling down the internet, like, just doing random stuff, watching whatever. And I saw this podcast of this guy that he does interviews as well for people that I specialize in the logistics part.
Okay.
And I was watching now, this is the freight broker that I was looking for. And they were started talking about how the freight broker like works and the people, and everyone that joined the podcast were already either freight brokers or they were like in the industry itself.
Right.
So I was like, give me a signal, like what I have to do. I was like, everything was going through my head, you don't have a job, you have like someone to take care of the disease, whatever. And then I remember like this guy, they were interviewing this guy that he was doing millions of dollars doing freight brokerage. And I just happened to, because at the end of the podcast, he said, if someone wants to like talk to me about job positions, or like if you want me to help you, whatever, just send me an email. And he left his email on the podcast, like on the where you can write.
Right. Descriptions. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I saw that and I said, what I have to lose? Like I'm texting the guy. So I write him an email and I said, you know what? I saw your podcast and I was very intrigued. Like, I don't know how to get into the industry. Maybe if you can give me a heads up, or maybe, some advice. But because you just mentioned that you were doing like probably $10 million a year. And he didn't reply back like in a few days. And then I got an email back. It was a very short email. And he said, here's my help to you. And he gave me access to these courses that they cost like $2,000. That is actually specifically for freight brokers.
Okay.
And the course cost $2,000, and he just gave it to me like, here you go. Like,
for free?
For free.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He said, he gave me the access to the Google Docs, and I was like, this is my help to you.
Were they his courses?
No.
Just,
he took the courses.
Okay.
He took those courses, and that's how he started in the industry.
Sure.
And he said, okay, this course is, I don't even know how much the courses cost at that time, but when I, looked at the courses, they were like $2,000. And he just gave it to me for free and said, here's the access code. You have all the chapters. You just, start reading, start listening to the videos that I have, and that's how you start. I was like, okay, if there's a signal in my life for doing something or whatever, this is it.
Okay.
And I started like very digging into the to the videos, and man, logistics is such a big part. Like you can do freight brokerage for air air shipping, ocean shipping, rail shipping. You can be even more specific, like what I got into, like car shipping, that we freight broker cars. So basically, you can broke whatever you want,
Right.
and the more specific you are, the better the niche. It's, I wouldn't say better, but it's for starts. It's better for that. That's gonna be open like the whole panorama for you, so you can do other stuff. And then,
How long did it take you to go through everything?
wow. The thing is that when they give you something to read, like you see the things and you're like, okay, I'm gonna focus. It's like you do probably 40 minutes, 1 hour, and like, I want to get some coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
And you just go and you just leave the thing like for 2 days. So that what happened to me. I was looking at the stuff 1 hour, then I was doing other stuff, and then it hit me like, bro, you have to start something like super quick, or you're not gonna be able to get a job. So in the process, when I was doing all the research and doing all the videos that I saw with that guy, of course I was also applying for jobs, because like I cannot rely just watching videos. What happens if I actually don't do the business or whatever? I need a job.
Right.
So in that process, I applied to different logistics companies, because I was already in the logistics business.
Right.
So I applied to these big companies, and one of them called me and said, "Hey, are you interested in the position?" And it was still 2019. Like nobody was going out of the house. If you want to work, we have a openings position for the warehouse, but it's like SAP. You want it? You're gonna go to training or whatever. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I need a job. And in that process, I went to like half of the videos, and they just like lay it low for that.
Okay.
Because I started to working with this company.
Sure.
And it's funny enough, it's like one of the biggest logistics company in the whole world. And I started with them, but they did. You know what freight forwarding is? It's like freight brokerage.
Okay.
But freight forwarders, they grab the actual shipments.
Okay.
They get a hold of the shipments with actually their hands. And freight brokers, they don't touch the merchandise.
Okay. So they actually house the
Correct.
shipments first. Okay.
Freight brokerage. Freight forwarders. They have the merchandises either in their warehouses, whatever, but they actually have possession of the merchandise.
Okay.
While freight brokers, they don't touch anything. They just make sure that your stuff is gonna be delivered to whatever it is you're sending it.
Okay.
So I started to work on this company, and then my light went like, wow. So this is another part of it, because it's the same thing. It's also related with freight brokerage. And I was looking at like how much freight do they got, and you have to remember that when you transport something by plane, like it costs you probably 5 times more than just to get it by truck. And they just keep having loads and loads and loads, and I was, wow, this is very, very intriguing. It's like I'm gonna ask maybe a management, someone over here that can point me in the right direction, so I can find out more about the industry, so I can learn, but at the same time as learning it, trying to focus it for my benefit.
Right.
So I stumble across the division that they have in this company that is in customs, that everything that comes to the US, it has to be like tax. They have like agreements that you have to put. And so I was like, wow, I need to apply for that.
Okay.
And I applied for that. I did the tests, and there was a lot, like 20 people that applied for the same position. I got it. I was very blessed for that. And then I started to learning, but I learned being there, not anymore reading or actually watching videos. I was learning with my hands actually on the products and other companies, how they bring stuff, like how to apply the laws and what would you expect if you bring something, I don't know, that it's gonna like explode on the airplane. Like, what are the regulations that they're gonna have, like, to bring stuff to the US? So I learned a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
So in that process, I started working with them in 2019 until very recently in 2023. Like, I'm still doing stuff with them, but like on independent stuff.
So just to wrap up, so you were in Bolivia, you came to the US, and you worked for your friend's company, got trained there.
Correct.
In the business. And then because of COVID, he kind of shut down. And then so you applied for a job at a larger company. And then you got in, you found about, was it freight forward?
Freight forwarding, correct.
And then you also found about like international
exactly,
right?
yeah.
And then you applied for that, so that's where you are right now.
Correct.
Okay. Right.
Correct.
And how long is this time frame? Like, it's like 2 years, you're saying? Or
2019, 3 years, maybe 3, 4 years.
Okay. And you're just kind of getting experience from just
Correct.
On your everyday job. You're just getting experience.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Then in that same process, like on 2022, I came across this other guy that he was making very interesting courses about the freight brokering, but he was niching out to cars.
Okay.
So I said, well, that sounds interesting at all. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
I didn't know you can brokerage cars. So I joined his course and started learning from that perspective, like, what do you need to ship cars? Can you broker cars too? Like, do you need special regulations for that? And it happens that you do need like special licenses to do that. Like, you need bonds and licenses, and you need to put a lot of money to start like a freight brokerage. It's not like, oh, you know what? I want to be a freight broker. Like, call me.
Right.
You have to be like licensed with the government. You have to apply for that, and just the license, it costs a lot of money. And to be bonded with them costs like a lot of money. And the bigger the company and the bigger you are, you need to apply for more bonding. So there are companies like probably have a bond like $10 million that they need to have that. But small ones, they probably go for 1 million.
So what is brokerage of cars? So you use the cars to deliver shipments?
Correct. So
Are these independent car owners like Uber, or is it companies?
no, they're companies.
Okay.
They are like big companies, or the owner of the truck that they need to fill their truck with cars.
Okay.
And most of them, they cannot fill all of the line of the big truck that they have. Most of them, they cannot fill them alone. Some of them, they have big contracts with I don't know, Tesla, whatever.
Oh, these are folks that deliver shipments of cars and vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're independent truck owners?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So let's say that if you have like a contract with Tesla, those guys are good because they have a contract and they have like a year-long contract with them.
Okay.
But there's the other side of guys that they just own the truck, but they don't do contracts. They just look for clients or people like you. Let's say you want to move to Miami, but you don't want to drive. So what you do, you contact either a broker or a trucking itself and say, you know what, how much will it cost me like to get my car shipped from my front door to Miami to my front door of my house over there.
Right.
And they give you a price, and that's what they do. Like they deliver cars either for companies or for personal.
That's interesting because I always thought like a company like Tesla would have their own truckers to do all the shipment, but you're saying they hire independent truckers.
They do have their own, but there's so much cars. There's such amount of cars that there's no way to cover them. Like there's not amount of trucks in the U.S. that can cover like the whole industry of cars.
Really?
Doesn't exist. No one company can cover the whole industry of cars.
So they have to use independent.
They have to use independent.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
So let's say you have your car, you want your car like shipped for wherever you want to go, and that's when either freight brokers, unless you know the trucker or the trucking, and you just call them directly. If not, there's a few companies that specialize in that, like mine, that you call us and say, you know, I'm moving and I don't want to drive. What's the price you have from here to New York?
Right.
So that's what we do. We find a truck. We already have the customer that we know that he wants to move. So now it's the process of finding the truck that actually wants to pick up the car at the correct price. So we negotiate the price with the truck and with the customer.
And you take a little bit off the top, I guess.
Correct.
For yourself. Okay.
Yes, we do the margin.
Okay. So when you're at this company working there, you're not using the company doesn't have their own trucks, or do they, I guess?
Which one? The
one you're working at.
Oh, they do.
They do have. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yes.
you're doing, but are you also working with independent truckers too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Okay. So how does that differ internationally? Like, so what are you doing internationally, I guess?
Well, right now, I actually want to expand the business because the cars, like the shipping cars, it's very cyclical.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you have a big contract with Toyota, with Tesla, it's very cyclical. So, like, for example, in the winter, there's people that want to move, don't want to move. Like, so it's a very cyclical business. But from the international perspective, like from the shipping part of air freight, it's also cyclical, but it doesn't like fluctuate so much as the car, because you have freight coming like all the time on air. So that's what I'm trying to probably like get together, mix now. So I'm gonna have the freight brokerage part with the trucks, with actually like shipping cars, and I actually want to like explore to open offices so we can ship internationally via air.
Oh, okay. So you have to make relationships with the folks outside the country then.
Yes, correct.
And then you're the middleman to help them get their stuff here.
Exactly,
okay.
Correct.
When did you start thinking about starting Wayy Fast then? Like, how did that start, I guess?
I gotta say, I mean, I wanted to start like from the very beginning. Like once I got here, like I have to start something before, I started working on this big company. But all I came to like, I gotta do it now on 2022.
Okay.
So in the middle of 2022, I applied for the licenses. I applied for the bonding. I just recently applied for factoring. So what factoring means is that now I can do like normal loads, not just be specific for cars. Now I can do normal freight like GrayHawk, step decks, stuff like that, like normal trucks.
Okay.
With freight from, I don't know, Walmart, stuff like that.
Okay. So when did you first open your business, I guess? When did you get your first client?
January. It's gonna be 8 months now.
Okay. And how'd you raise the money for all that? Where'd you get the capital?
Working from this company.
Okay, so you just saved, basically.
I mean, you know what? I got the blessing that when I came, I was the apartment that I live. It was very cheap.
Okay.
So thank God for that. So that gave me the advantage of actually saving some money.
Okay.
And in the side, surviving.
Right.
Eating.
Right.
And like moving.
So just discipline. You just save money.
Exactly. So I started saving, and saving.
How long were you saving for? Do you know?
Wow. I don't know. I probably saved for a year.
Okay. And that was enough to get the business started, registered, licensed, bonding?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That was enough for everything.
All right. And if someone wants to replicate all that, how much money do you think they would have to save to start, you think?
It's hard to say, but I've known people that started in the freight brokerage industry without having any knowledge at all.
Okay.
And they succeeded.
Okay.
Other people did the same without having any knowledge, and they just got broke like instantly because they didn't know the ins and outs of the industry.
Right.
Or they didn't had the perspective of how much actual money I'm gonna need. But to answer that question, going back to that question, probably to be on the safe side, I would say that you can start it for with 10K, 10 to 15K.
Right. And how did you get your first customer when you
Cold calling.
Just cold called?
Cold calling.
Who are you cold calling? That is awesome.
Everyone.
Okay.
Everyone, bro. Man, I was calling people that... The thing is that with this industry, what it's interesting, you don't need to go outside and start oh, you know what? They probably do freight or, I'm going to call this customer. No. There's actual software and specific software that you just pay on a monthly basis, and they just give you a list of millions of companies.
Oh, wow.
They are, just in the US, you have 32 million small businesses.
Right.
32 million small businesses just in the US. So imagine that kind of, wow. So 32 million, you have 32 million calls to do, basically, if you want to do business. And out of those numbers, everyone that is basically having business either is importing stuff, they have to import either their supplies or whatever they're bringing, they have to import it, or either they have to export something.
Absolutely.
So that's where logistics comes in. And the thing is that you have this software that you pay a monthly fee, and they just give you these tons of information about people and companies that...
Do you remember which software you used?
For information?
Yeah.
You can use Zoom Info. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Zoom Info. There was this other one that I was recently looking into it. It's called Apollo.
Okay. And just a monthly fee, and they give
Correct.
you access to... And so in the beginning, how many calls were you making every day?
Probably 200.
Like, seriously? So how long does that take all day, right?
Probably all day until because you have to call, they call and, hey, it's not like you call and you get the right person.
Right.
You call and you have to ask for either the shipping manager or the one that's in charge that made the decisions for the trucking.
Sure.
So it can go two ways. Either they say, okay, hold on, we're going to pass it through, or they just say, we don't deal with brokers.
Right.
Straight up. And you're just that all day, calling and calling and calling. And
that must be extremely hard, I guess.
Oh, it is.
Right.
It is. But
how long did it take before you got your first client doing that?
probably 3 months.
3 months of just cold calling.
Cold calling.
So tell us what that first client was like. Like, how'd you get that?
I was okay. So I was cold calling, and I get this information from a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? I have a friend that actually that's moving because he's a doctor, and he's moving from Miami. I think he was going to Tennessee or something like that. You should give him a call because I don't think he wants to drive. I think he's kind of old, and he's looking to. He asked me to drive his car, but I can't. So probably you can take that.
Right.
And I give him a call, and he said, "Yeah, I'm moving, but this has to be like SAP. Like it has to be like fast. Mm-hmm. How much do you think you can get a truck to move my SUV from Miami to Tennessee?" Right. And I was like, "What? Like, when do you need it for?"
Right.
Like, today is Wednesday. I'm leaving on Friday. I'm like, what? And it's complicated because when you call a trucker with so like short notice, they go up with the price because they know that you're so desperate.
Right.
They go, when you need the car? For tomorrow. Oh, it was gonna be $12.50, but now it's $3.
Right.
So I'm like, why? So at that first load that we did, I didn't make any money.
Okay.
I didn't make any money. I think I lost money. Why? But I just needed to do it for the client, mm-hmm. to get the word out that I did a good job, and the recommendations and the word of mouth. That's basically all of it. So I did it. I didn't make any money. But the client was so thrilled with me, mm-hmm. that he recommended me to another doctor friends.
Okay.
So I started moving more loads, like probably like 3 cars a week, 2 cars a week, then 5 cars a week. And
all from that one?
All from that one client.
Just because they told their friends and they...
All from that one client.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that's when and everything was going great, but then things started like going a little slower, mm-hmm. because of moving season was like getting shorted. Mm-hmm. Nobody was actually trying to move, I guess.
Right.
So the business starts to like slowing down, mm-hmm. and then I said like I have to transition. And in the meantime, I said, okay, I'm doing 200 calls a day. Mm-hmm. If I get another Marco to work for me,
okay.
That means he's gonna do another 200 calls a day. Mm-hmm. And let's say Marco number 1 from that 200 calls gets 2 clients. That means that Marco number 2 is gonna get 2 clients as well. So right. That's 4 clients.
Right.
So why don't I hire someone like a Marco number 2 to help me out?
Sure.
So that's what I did. I started looking for people that knew they wanted to learn about the industry, and I started to hire people.
How many people did you hire in the first round, I guess?
No, my first was just one.
Just one guy.
But after that, I started hiring like 6 people.
All right. And where did you get the money to pay for them, or are they just...
Oh, they are strictly sales commission.
Okay, so there's just... Okay.
Yes.
Was that hard to find people to do that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Just because people are like reluctant when they say sales. I mean, I like sales, but how much are you gonna pay me? Mm-hmm. You're gonna earn based on your productivity. They're like, I don't think so. So I was like, oh man, just start looking and looking. So then I came across that guys from college, mm-hmm. they're leaving college. They are very like, you want to work? Yeah. What you need? What you want? And they're like, okay. And they just are very straight because they just want money, and they just wanna get to know the whatever industry that they can get her hands off because they want the experience. So I started with one from college.
Okay.
And he did good. He was doing good.
How many clients did he get?
I think it took for him. I mean, for me, it took 3 months just to get one client.
Right.
I think he got his first client in the first 2 weeks.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Just from cold calling?
Just from cold calling.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah. So at that point, I thought man, probably I'm not that good at sales, and this guy is getting people just in the first week. And I was like,
right.
Well, that's good. And that's when I got into my mind of transitioning, of actually opening the whole brokerage division but from the perspective of doing normal freight, like all year long freight.
Okay.
And that's in this on the transition that I'm now. Looking for people that I want to work with, and they want to, so they have to work with me. And I'm thinking that probably, God willing, to the end of this year, that's gonna be open.
So you're hiring sales folks, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What is your regular day like right now? So you wake up, and then what's your routine like throughout the day?
I wake up at 4:30 a.m.
Okay. All right. When are you going to bed?
Wow. There's times that I go to bed at 12.
Okay. So you wake up at 4:30.
Yeah, I wake up at 30. Most people are gonna say, "Oh, I do yoga. I don't know, all this fancy stuff." But no, I wake up at 4:30 because I don't know. It's probably something wrong with me, man. But at 4:30, I wake up. Then I check my emails.
Okay.
Drink my coffee. Then sometimes I have to go to the office to do the independent customs that I offer to the other clients. So sometimes I have to go to the airport, do that stuff, and that's when I start at 4:30. And if I don't have to do anything like that, at 9 I'm calling clients, or maybe 8:30 if my people are up, which they need to.
Right.
So we're just doing a meeting and just prospecting, talking about how many clients you think you're gonna get today.
Okay.
Which ones are you gonna call? And I divide them by industry. So I got this guy that only works steel, and I got this other guy that only works flowers. I got this guy that only works normal freight, from Walmart, stuff like that. So I basically check all that.
Okay.
And that's pretty much my day.
So if you called me out of the blue, and then I heard you, and I said, "This sounds interesting. I want to become a client." What do you do after that? What's the process of servicing and uploading?
So let's say you're calling the carrier side, or you're the shipper, the one that has the product.
Oh, okay. So let's say you called me and I'm the shipper. What would you do for me then?
Okay. Once I get your business, I have to get you the truck, the actual trucks that move your freight. So I have to ask you what freight do you have? What's the weight on the freight that you have? Do you have is it hazmat material?
Right.
That this is something in there that can explode.
Right.
Do you need special equipment like forklift to do the shipment to put on inside the truck? And once I get all the questions asked, I just see what trucks I have available, let's say in that specific city, because probably you don't have to be from Miami to call me. You probably are in in Wisconsin or whatever.
Right.
And I have to see there's actually trucks that fit your needs in that area.
So are you cold calling truckers too, or do you have relationships also, I guess?
Yeah, I have relationships, but like I said, there's such a big industry that no one can fill them. Like
Right.
no one can like get everything together.
Okay.
Not even the big companies. Actually, there's an interview that happened like 3 weeks ago with the president of Steam Logistics. Steam Logistics is a big a freight brokerage company, and they own 0 trucks. They don't own they don't know not even the tire of a truck.
Right.
And on 2022, they closed the year in almost $1 billion. That's one with a B.
Just
billion.
From connecting people together.
Just
Okay.
doing you're the shipper, you're the trucker, we're gonna put you together.
Right.
So
once you give me the truck, I guess you're setting the dates and everything.
you set the dates. You
tell
own.
me, okay.
Correct. I mean, if you are the owner of the shipment, you said, okay, this I don't know if you're making products, like these tomatoes need to go tomorrow. Like your truck has to be tomorrow over here.
Right.
And I have to be able to find the truck. So it's basically you're always stressed because not all the trucks are gonna take your load, because one guy is gonna say, you as a company, you're gonna say, okay, Marco, I'm gonna give you because they charge you per mile.
Sure.
So they say, I'm gonna give you for this load $1.50 per mile. So I have to call a truck and say, you know what, I have this incredible load, but it has to be delivered specifically to this part where some trucks they cannot get in.
Right.
So I know they're gonna charge a lot. So I negotiate the price with them, with the trucking, to give them a little bit less, so I can make a profit.
Right.
So.
And then how do I pay you? Is it upfront, or is it when delivery happens, or is it half and half? Or
Well, the ship you as the shipper will pay me basically. Even let's say have you ever heard of the term of factoring companies?
No.
So factoring companies, they are like banks, but they specialize just in logistics.
Okay.
So they upfront the money, they pay you, and they deal with the hassle of getting the money from either the shipper or the trucker.
Oh, I see.
But the trucker has to be paid. The sooner the trucker gets paid, it's better for you, because
He'll do the job.
he'll do the job.
Okay.
Because if you said, oh, you know what, I'm gonna pay you in 15 days, you're gonna, oh yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Right. So you're stressed until the delivery is made.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there could be an accident. He may not show up.
Correct.
Or things like that. I'm sure
And-
that happens a lot, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
more than you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? I know this guy that he's also a freight broker, but he does cold produce, and you need specific trucks for that.
Right.
That they have a thermostat inside of the truck, and I don't want to do that because that's stressful,
Right.
and that's very difficult.
Right. I can imagine.
But that's his niche. And we were talking one day, and he got into this big mess because the trucker he put the thermostat one Fahrenheit. I think it was less or more, and all the products got I think it was tomatoes or lettuce, something like that. It was ruined. By the time it got there, it was ruined.
Right.
So in that position, what happens?
Yeah.
So you as a broker, you have the responsibility of actually telling the client, you know what, this just happened, but you have to prove that it was not something that was your fault.
Right.
Because when that happens, they're gonna come after your insurance.
Right.
And your insurance is they're gonna have the money. And that load that from my friend, it was valued at probably $2.5 million because there was a lot of products. And I think according to him, he lost it, like all of the trucker. He lost all the products. So now you have to deal with this, because if you don't, as a broker, you don't you don't show that actually it's not your fault. You're gonna be liable for that.
Right.
Because someone has to pay for the 2.5 for whatever reason happened.
Right.
And you have to prove that it was actually like the trucker's fault, so you don't get like.
So I'm sure you guys have documents everyone signs.
Yeah. Like everything is signed. Everything is signed. Like you have to sign the BOLs. They have to send it over to you. You have to like look it up very good.
So if you get me as a customer, then does someone else manage the account, or is it do you do that at your company, or do you have other?
Oh no, yeah. I mean, the thing is that when you're a small company, you can do all of the big things.
Right.
So if you have like, I don't know, 10 clients, they're probably gonna get me too. They're probably gonna call me as well.
Sure.
Even though I have my reps. But if something happens, like, and my rep says, you know what, this guy just wants to talk to you or wants to talk to the owner because he's not feeling comfortable talking to me, no problem. I'll talk to him.
Right. How are you getting most of your clients right now? Is it still cold calls?
Cold calling.
Okay. Are you doing any other advertising or?
Not yet, but I will.
All right.
Yes.
Let's see. What do you, if someone came up to you and said, I want to get into this business, what would you tell them?
Go for it.
All right.
I will tell them, man, you know what? There's so much freight that comes just to the U.S., just locally to the U.S., that competition, it's even good. It's good because no company can fulfill all of the needs of everything that comes to U.S.
Right.
No single company can do it.
Is there any special tips you would give them? Like, you need to know this, or you shouldn't do this, or?
Well, it would be better, of course, that they like do a little research and find out what actual niches they wanna pursue. But you know what? YouTube, it's the best university you'll have now. Like, there was this guy actually the other day, like even Steve Cox, the president of Team Logistics, said that YouTube is the university that most people take granted for. Like, they go to college, they learn their stuff, but they don't know they have these other resources for free.
Right.
That you can actually learn from. Hey, you wanna learn how to create a bottle of water and put the water in it without like opening the bottle. They have a tutorial for that. So you can jump in any industry you want, and you can find out everything you like. Everything's for free now.
Right. How many clients does Wayy Fast have right now on a regular basis, you think?
Like
say weekly,
like from me or from my whole team.
The whole company, your whole team. And your whole team.
I don't know, probably 100, 150
per week.
Oh no, you mean weekly? Oh no, weekly we do like probably 10, 12 cars.
Oh wow, okay. Where do you see yourself in like 5 years, I guess, or what are your plans for Wayy Fast?
I wanna have like probably 2 more offices.
Okay.
At least 1 more office where I can actually outsource a lot of like material and resources and human resources. Actually, having 1 office. Actually, probably I'm thinking of Dallas and in Miami as well, because I have an office in Miami as well.
And you want to expand, you said, to other things, not just cars, right? So what other things again that you were trying to
normal
do?
Freight, like just regular freight, like drayage, dry vans.
How about, have you tried becoming a contractor for big companies to help deliver stuff, or like a Tesla or something like that? Or
Not yet. The thing is that they get requests like they probably get like
that's hard to
5,000 requests a day. Big companies. I put my request, but not yet. Like I haven't got a notice yet.
Okay.
But hopefully one day, like because when you get a big client like, I don't know, Toyota or Tesla, you know you're gonna be busy all year long because they said, okay, we have 600 cars a month. Can you deal with that?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Awesome. All right.
And well, that's the whole point of actually doing that, to get the big clients.
Right.
But get the big fish.
Yep. Absolutely. This was an awesome story. I love the fact that you're so tenacious with your cold calls.
Thank you.
Just doing it attitude. Any last thoughts before we, say goodbye for now?
I wanted to thank you. Like, you have an awesome channel. Like,
thanks.
I've watched all the episodes that you have on just entrepreneurs showing the stuff. Man, it's incredible. Like we were talking before, entrepreneurs should be like a career in the university.
Yeah, it is fascinating. They don't do that on the undergraduate level, right? You have to get to grad school or something like that.
But really they should like be more specific. Like, I don't know. Like, there's so much into it just on being an entrepreneur. So much hustle that you have to do. So much, like in myself, call.
Right.
Because I know that I've been in sales most of my life, but calling, wow, I've never been rejected so many times in my life.
Right.
Calling people like, hey, my name is Marco from Wayy Fast Logistics.
But you keep doing it.
Yeah,
that's the best part, right?
Yeah.
You don't ever stop.
Correct.
Right?
You have to keep doing it. Otherwise, it's just money down the drain. You put all this effort and money on the licenses and all these hopes that you want to do something. You just gotta do it. Just push it. Like, I know that there's people that they love the face-to-face stuff. Just do it. If you like, go face-to-face instead of calling. If that's your thing, do it. Like, I know there's all the companies will take a meeting with you. Like, if you go to probably Walmart,
right,
and go, hey, may I talk with the shipping department or whatever, to actually, like, they see you, they'll probably take you.
Right.
There are places that they're gonna say like, what are you doing over here? No, but you'll never know unless you try.
Well, I love your message, and I think we'll end there. But thank you so much for doing this podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the cover. Thank you, man.
All right. Well, thank you, Marco.
Right. Thank you.